Good morning. We are live. Yesterday, I woke up, and first thing I did when I picked up my phone, I opened it up, and just out of habit, I immediately, when I wake up in the morning, I check to see if anything big's happened or anything like that. The first thing that hit me was a young woman on social media talking about her loss of family, how this is not okay, how she's looking, how this is irreparably damaged. She is a mother. She has a gay son, and her parents, who have a gay grandchild, voted for Trump. And she was heartbroken. She is heartbroken, and she's ended her relationship with them because it's not okay. This is not okay what you've done. And I got to tell you, it got me to thinking about my personal relationships and how the pride I've had in people, family members, has just been ripped away. And I was sad. I mean, all day yesterday, I was sad. I mean, I was down. No more. I am at war. Let's do this. Oh, we told you, folks, it was going to come at you fast and furious. Project 2025 is designed to be a shock and awe, and it's starting already. But before we get into that and what's going on, we're going to Rachel Maddow this shit. We are. I love Rachel Maddow. She big pictures everything, and she goes. I mean, we're going to jump in the Wayback Machine, and you and we're going to have a discussion because going forward, we're going to do a few things differently. We are. This is Julius Caesar. And stick with me. Everybody hated history class. This is not a history class. Stick with me. This is important. This is Julius Caesar. We study Julius Caesar to this day. He is considered to be one of the most brilliant leaders, military leaders to ever exist. They still, at the Army War College, etc., teach what Julius Caesar developed on how to handle logistics and siege warfare and just how to feed and run and process a battle. The man was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But he had his losses. He did. He didn't win every battle. He didn't. He, in about 52 BC, in the Gallic campaign, he, Phantom Pup, thank you, man. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you. I'm with you all, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul, the right, and Jerry, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate you coming hot out the gate. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Jerry, thank you. Sherry, thank you, everybody. Let's get back to it. About 52 BC, Julius Caesar ran into Vercingetorix, General Vercingetorix, during the Gallic campaign. He was a Gallic general. And Vercingetorix was Julius Caesar's equal in every way. He was as tactically brilliant. His army was as good. They fought it out, and Vercingetorix handed Julius Caesar his ass. You probably, someone like me sees this and says, well, then why aren't we studying Vercingetorix if he defeated Caesar and he was actually a better general and yada, yada, yada. No, there's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. Even good generals lose. They do. Us, we lose. We lost battles in World War II. We did. It's just part of a long war. It is. And the Battle of Gergovia in 52 BC, absolutely. Julius Caesar lost his butt. But there's a reason we don't study Vercingetorix. When I say Celtic culture, what comes to mind? For you folks, this is an interactive show, live chat. Come on. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and let's talk about it. When I say Celtic culture, what comes to mind? Yeah, exactly. Ireland, Scotland, UK, all of that. This is going to blow your mind. This was the Celtic Empire. Yeah, one of the largest empires on Earth. That was the Celtic Empire at about 100 BC. Quickly went into decline, but you see Gaul here was part of that. And Vercingetorix was was Gallic. Gaul was, think modern day France. Okay. We're going somewhere with this. Stick with me. We're going somewhere with this. Why don't we study the Celtics empire? You had no idea, right? I mean, you are some of the smartest people I know, and you had no idea the Celtic empire was one of the largest empires ever. And why don't we study Vercingetorix if he beat Julius Caesar? There's a reason. There's a reason. The Celtic Empire was not like we like to think of empires. It was a mess. It was thousands of tribes, each with their own king. It wasn't neat and tidy and in a package. Now, when I say we don't study it, I obviously studied it. You can study it. Historians, they know it. They study it. Who doesn't study it? The stupids. And I'm going to use that word a lot today, and I want you to forgive me. The stupids. Because we're going to talk about two different types of human beings. The history class that they teach most people aren't for people like you. They just aren't. And this is where the whole history thing comes into play. They call you elitists. And they do it derogatorily. They say you're elitist. I call you the elite. And I do it unapologetically. I call you the elite. Why? Because you have the cognitive ability to analyze things. You have the cognitive ability to understand the big picture. There's a reason we study just the Roman Empire and just a couple segments of it, not really all of it, because if you try to take the stupids and teach them history, and you teach them like a messy history, their eyes glaze over. You lose them. You can't have that conversation. So when they came up with a curriculum, they said, okay, the Roman Empire was significant. It meant a lot of things, this, that, and yes, there were other empires, but we're not going to talk about that. We just aren't. There's a reason that remember the Alamo is, brave people fought a fight and fought off a much larger army and died trying and yada, 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 yada. Real simple, right? Right. It's simple for the stupids. You should see the rage in their face when I tell them the good guys at the Alamo were on the outside. They were on the outside. Yes, I'm Texan. Yes, I'm a proud Texan. Yes, I'm glad Texas exists. Yes, I'm glad Sam Houston won and Texas is part of the United States. All of that I'm glad for. But the good guys at the Alamo were the Mexicans. Because the reason they were fighting was over slavery. Remember, the Mexicans said, come, live here, prosper. No slaves. That was it. That was the Battle of the Alamo. But that's complex. That's ugly. And they don't write history for the stupids. They don't. Because you can't get people to listen to it. You can't get people to learn it. So you just kind of take what's important and, that's what you do. That's what you do. That's teaching in reality to this day. And where I'm going with that is here. Where did I put you? I've got an image for you. And this one's going to smart just a little bit. It's going to hurt just a little bit. Stick with me. And in fact, hit the subscribe button before I show you this, because I'm going to lose a few of you here. I am. Boom. We fight, we win. Oh, that didn't work out. It's a true statement. It's a true statement. When we fight, we win. But we didn't fight in the last election. We didn't. We screwed up. We did. And I still see people trying to say, well, it was stolen, it was this, it was that. No, we screwed up. And the farther we get away from it, the more we're going to be able to understand that we screwed up. See, here's what we did and why the whole history thing, and I'm going to tie it all in together for you. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's get 4,000 or 5,000 people in here. People need to hear this. And again, I want to preface this. I appreciate you, Mr. McBastage. Along with the Reformation came the Inquisition. It was a long, bloody road to the Enlightenment. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're going there. Folks, this is not a conversation about policy. This is not a conversation about what we do going forward as far as specific campaigns. This is an us conversation. This isn't a general conversation for the population. Because, like I said, you are the elite. You are here. You have the ability to think things through. You're not the only ones. You aren't. There are people just like Julius Caesar faced his nemesis. We face a nemesis on the other side who also have cognitive abilities. But they're not good and decent people. They aren't. They understand why history class is taught the way it's taught. They get it. Much so more than we do at this point. Because our electoral failure was this. They're the thing you can hash out this, that, and the other, but at its core, this was our electoral failure. We forgot not everybody's us. And we went into this election thinking we can talk to people. We went into this election thinking decency and goodness is at the core of most people. We forgot that ability to reason, the reason you're an elite. Yeah, We're a minority. We are. We're a minority. And we forgot. We're talking to the stupids, and the stupids get to vote. They do. The stupids get to vote. And the stupids we're hearing from people like Joe Rogan. And the messaging that Joe Rogan had for the stupids and Andrew Tate had for the stupids. Andrew Tate is talking to your grandkids, your grandson specifically. And this guy, you know, is Mr. Misogyny. And I guarantee you got a grandkid somewhere in your family that thinks this guy is badass, man. And I just, for the ladies, I just want to show you, yeah. He ain't all that. There ain't nothing there. That's some tight ass shorts. Where is his Johnson? I'll call it out. I'll say it. That's part of our new way forward. This guy is as pathetic as it comes. You know, yeah, sure. He hits a gym. Yeah, he's into the MMA fighting shit. I don't give a shit. It doesn't make you anything. It doesn't make you anything. He's a moron with no package. Nothing down in the package. But the message to the stupids that came from him resonated. Because let me tell you something. If you've raised young men, yeah. Look, there's a reason we say young men need strong father figures. It's because those young men, yeah, some of the misogynist, stupid shit that comes through the young male community ain't always freaking good. Now, there you go. I love you people so much. He's no Arnold Palmer. He's not the only one, though. And I want you to keep in mind the message that I'm telling you. There are people on the other side that have the same cognitive abilities you do, but they're just not, doesn't mean they're you. They're not good and decent people. This is Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is the guy that's put that your body, my choice thing out. Yeah. Let me tell you a little something about Nick Fuentes. He's been caught twice on his show watching gay porn. Yet on his show, he preaches an anti-gay message. Why? Bigoted, misogynist. That's his whole show. Do you think he doesn't understand that he's gay and watch it? Literally, you know how I just did a screen share there? At the end of one of his shows, he did a screen share on accident, wrong tab. It was gay freaking porn. Streamed out over a show. Then there was another show where the camera panned and you could see one of the monitors he was looking at while he was doing his show. He was watching gay porn. But he does a show that's full of misogyny and all of this Andrew Tate style shit that isn't real. Nastiness, smallness, hate, all of that. And he's gay. He's freaking gay. He is. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you don't sit and watch gay porn if you ain't gay. I mean, it's an assumption on my part. I don't know Nick Fuentes, but pretty much, well, if you get caught twice on your own damn show streaming gay porn, you're gay. So why'd you do it? Well, that's what I'm saying. Just because there are people on the other side that have cognitive abilities and they understand the difference between people like you and your caliber, the elite, and the stupids that are out there. Just because they understand it doesn't mean they're going to do something good with it. They're bad people. Let me introduce you. This is Lee Atwater. This is Lee Atwater. Now, Lee Atwater worked with Reagan back in the day. He's the grandfather of all this, and he is pleasantly dead, and he died horribly from cancer. Much deserved. Thank you, karma. But Lee Atwater there was the beginning of the end. People keep talking about wanting to get back to and all this other stuff. Yeah. Lee Atwater was the person that drove the knife into the heart of we can disagree, but we're still friends. He's the father of the politics of personal destruction. He, like you, had the ability to understand the big picture. He had advanced cognitive abilities, and he used them nefariously. He used them to spread a message that government's bad to people who desperately needed government. I'm talking about your trailer trash, your stupids, not good and decent people that happen to live in a trailer. You know what when I say trailer trash, I mean trailer trash. You know who I'm talking about. Reagan had a message, and it's surreal to you because, again, you're intelligent. Government's bad. You don't need no government. Make me the government. Yeah. And you see it today. You see these things, these messages on the other side, and they don't make any sense. They just don't make any sense to you. To you. And that's what we did. That's what we did. Because we're built differently. We're built differently. I read this in the last show. I want to read it for you again. One more time. This is from Scientific American. According to research, studies have shown that individuals self-identifying as liberal tend to have a larger volume of gray matter in the anterior cingulate cortex of their brains, while conservatives tend to have larger volumes in their amygdala. Literally, we have different brains. We do. We are different people. I'll read you a clip from another article from Business Insider. A conservative's brain is more active in different areas than a liberal one. Brain scans show that people who self-identify as conservative have larger and more active right amygdalas, an area of the brain that is associated with expressing and processing fear. They literally do not and cannot think like you. But among them, there are some that understand big pictures. They do. They do. And you have seen it for years in our politics. Here's Turd Blossom. One of the stupidest presidents we ever had, and Turd Blossom. How did they win? Twice. How? Against good, decent, and intelligent people running Al Gore and John Kerry, running on platforms that were good. How did they win? No, Terry, no. They didn't cheat. They understand the stupids. They do. They understand the stupids. You know who else understands the stupids? The Heritage Foundation. They get it. They absolutely get. There's a bifurcation in our society. And believe me, they talk about them just like we do. They do. That's why I say this is a discussion for us. This isn't what we're going to run on. I'm not going to ask you to go out there and say, hey, stupids. No, it's just an understanding of who they are and what they are. Because we went into this election with goodness, with decency, with a great qualified candidate, all of that stuff. And we lost because we talked to each other. And we made the assumption that Pennsylvania Union guy isn't also a bigot and isn't also scared and fragile and in some cases stupid. When we ran this campaign, we pushed this guy away as hard as we freaking could because he's repugnant to us. We forgot we're a minority. We forgot that just because we're right and just because we're more intelligent and just because we understand the big picture, that we're living in a democracy, and a democracy means getting the stupids to vote for you. So we're going to do what Julius Caesar did. After he got his ass handed to him, he retreated. He regrouped. He reformed his legions, and then in 2 years, Caesar completely defeated all of Gaul. We're going to do the exact same thing. We are. And one of the ways we're going to do it is we're going to take advantage of the Trump administration. See, that's one of the ways Joe Biden won was, yeah, we were really good at pointing out just how lousy Republicans are at governing, because they are. They suck at governing. And we may have to actually fight to get our democracy back first. We're going to see how it plays out, but it looks like they're going to try to rig the next several elections to where they can't lose. So when I'm talking about these things, I'm talking long term. We're going to fight it as it comes. We're going to fight it as it comes. But we're going to fight smarter. And one of the things I invite you to do is go watch this movie. This is a great movie. Go watch this movie. Go watch this movie. It is a really good movie. It's from 2006. Go watch Idiocracy. We need a wake-up call and get ourselves out of our bubble. It's not just about our decency. You know, we can be decent. We can do the right thing. We can do all of it, but we have to win first. We do. We have to win control first. And this is how. This is how. First of all, they're going to screw up hard. And it's already happening. Trump is not even in office, and the screw-ups are already coming. Greg Abbott, hardcore supporters will help Texas pass school choice plan, Abbott says. Yeah. You know what the school choice plan is? The state of Texas is now going to collect taxes for churches. Let me say it again. The state of Texas is now going to force you to pay them taxes for churches. See, part of running a government is running a public school system. It is. You don't pay school taxes. That's not tuition. You pay school taxes. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. Idiocracy was not supposed to be a documentary. It wasn't. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You pay school taxes to fund a public school system. It is not tuition for your kid. It's not. A public school system is a benefit to society. Government has to run it. We do things for ourselves. Government does for us what we cannot do for ourselves. You can go back to a time in which we tried to run each individual schools. It didn't work. It's just like Little House on the Prairie school marm stuff. It doesn't produce the quality and caliber of society we have today. Which, again, I understand when you say that to the stupids, they recoil because they think today is bad, when today is actually the best time we've ever lived in. It's one of the most peaceful. People don't die from diseases willy-nilly left and right like they used to. We're living longer. We're talking about record employment. We're talking about, this is a great time to be alive, people. If you can keep everything on the right track. So here in the state of Texas, you have churches. I love you people. I really do. I love you. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times y'all pop out with something that I'm about to. Here in the state of Texas, you have churches, and it's going to happen where you are too. This is our new reality, and it's one of those things, once it's created, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. It's here to stay. It's our new reality. You have churches that don't pay taxes. You pay taxes to fund a school system. The state of Texas and most of your states now will now force you to pay taxes for a second system for the churches. They will force you to pay taxes to give to the churches. That is the future. That is what they're doing. And we're going to beat the living shit out of them with that because it's stupid and it's wrong. You should not have to pay taxes to churches, and the government shouldn't force you to do so. It's stupid and it's wrong. Yes, it's going to happen. Yes, we're going to have to endure it. But that's how we won the last election. Is they were stupid and they don't know how to govern and they do stupid, idiotic things, and we're going to make them pay for it. But in the next election that we get to hold, we are not going to be those people that sit there and have conversations and run campaigns as though we're the only ones walking into the voting booth. We're not going to do that. We're never going to do that again. A lot of you people know who Shannon Watts is. She and I had a big dust up about a year ago. She's major anti-guns. And I kept telling everybody, I wasn't directing it at Shannon Watts. I retweeted one of her tweets without even realizing it was Shannon Watts. And I kept telling people, this is a loser. Stop doing this. Folks, our brains are different. They are scared, weak men. When you see that guy in the MAGA hat, he ain't you, man. You can go through your day. You go through your whole life. It never occurs to you to carry a gun around because you're not afraid. You're not. You know how good life is. It's great to go shopping. He can't go shopping unarmed because he's afraid. And because he's afraid, he's got to exude a lot of puffery. And I'm a tough guy. Look how tough I am. I'm armed. I'm a badass with an AR-15. No, you're really a pussy and afraid. God damn my mouth. I keep getting myself in trouble. But you are. That's what you are. That's why you're so armed. See, grandma, who's 80 years old, she gets up and she goes to Walmart and she does her shopping and everything. She's fine. She's cool. She's all right. And she's not armed. Doesn't have to be. But here's the thing. Chicken shit, MAGA hat guy votes. And we have been telling him that we want gun control. Now, you and I have that conversation. You and I both know this to be true. This is a fact. You don't give a shit what guns I own. You don't. You don't give a shit what guns anybody own. If they would just shut the hell up, stop talking about killing their fellow Americans, and just go enjoy your guns. Go skeet shooting, go trap shooting, go target shooting, do whatever. Stick a rubber over the end of it and shove it up your butt. We don't care. It's when you start that anti-American, hate your fellow Americans. I'm so scared. The Democrats are commies, and they want to come get me. Oh, they're going to come get me. And you say that to these weak-minded freaks that go into dollar stores and shoot people, that go into schools and shoot people. That's what we really care about. That's what we really care about. Oh, by the way, times have changed. We've gone, this is still available if you want something that you can carry out, like to work. But no, I ain't afraid, because this is where we are now. So what do? We say, you know what? We need to have a ban on assault rifles because that will cool everything down. That will slow the conversation. People will stop talking about violence. Let's get that all under control. And they go to their people and say, they're very scared people, the ones with the cognitive abilities that understand the big picture. They know they're talking to the stupids that are afraid, and they tell them they're going to come take that gun away. They are. Everything you're afraid of is going to happen, and you ain't going to be able to defend yourself or your family. So going forward, we're not going to give them ammunition. We're not. We're just not going to give them ammunition. We're going to fight smarter. We're going to understand that you can elect good and decent people that will do good and decent things. But we don't have to run the campaigns we do. We can point at them and say, look, they're stupid pieces of shit that have no fealty to our country. They suck Putin's balls. They're cowards. They're traitors. We can do all of that. We can do this. Look, right now. This is, like I said, it's coming at you fast. J.D. Vance, couch fucker. J.D. Vance says U.S. could drop support for NATO if Europe tries to regulate Elon Musk's platform. Yeah, he actually sent that threat and tried to tell the European Union, if you enforce your laws, in which they have laws, if you don't do exactly what we want you to do, we're going to pull out of NATO. Folks, they're going to pull out of NATO. They are. They're just going to try to get something for it before they do. This isn't a threat. Europe's been prepared for this. Back in 2017, they figured out that Trump is a Putin ball-sucking traitor. They figured that out. They knew if Trump ever held power again, NATO's over. So, yeah, that ain't a threat, man. They've been preparing for it forever. You're threatening to do something that we all know you're going to do anyways. Who gives a shit? Europe's going to be fine. You know who proved that Europe's going to be fine? They're going to have a fight on their hands. I'm not even kidding. They are. They're going to have a fight on their hands, but they're going to be fine because Russia can't even kick Ukraine's ass in an uneven fight. In an uneven fight, Ukraine is kicking Russia's ass. I tell you what I would like to see on a side note, just put the brakes on everything. We made a deal with Ukraine for them to give up their nuclear weapons in return for security. We failed. We're not giving them security. Give them their nukes back. Let Putin threaten to use tactical nukes in Ukraine when Ukraine can throw them back at him. That's how I feel about it. Got a few weeks left, but Joe won't do that. I think he should, but Joe won't. Well, I'm telling you folks, different things. We're going to talk about a couple different things, and we're going to get back to the main theme. This is happening. And you know what? I dump all over the corporate media constantly. I do. Once in a blue moon, they get it right. They get a story right. And I'm just going to call it because of who we are, even though I should just excoriate them at every frickin' turn. I'm going to tell you, the Washington Post got this one right. They talked about it in the broader context. Yeah, believe it or not, this article, it's a great article. Read it. It talks about it in the broader context and how these movements, once they succeed, and they have succeeded, their goal was to get Trump reelected. That's Hamas's goal, to get Trump reelected. They've succeeded, so now they don't have to moderate their message anymore. All of these movements on campus are now openly pushing. This is by Laura Meckler and Susan Sverluga, on Washington Post. But yeah, the messages have now changed. They're actually openly pro-Hamas and getting more radical. And what's great about the article is when you read it, they actually give you examples of how every time one of these movements, and this is why I was so vehemently against this movement, is once they win, they become extreme, very extreme. They take the mask off. And that's what's happening on campuses all across. Our Jewish friends have their hands full with this mess. They really do. The anti-Semitism is just exploding all over the place. And that is just our new reality. And we need to be aware of it. And kudos to Washington Post for putting an article out there that talked about something that's not flattering, it's not good, and just explaining, hey, this is why it's happening. Great article. Go read it. Go read it after the show. But yeah, I've explained this on the show before. Hamas can't survive peace. They wanted Trump. Netanyahu can't survive peace. He wanted Trump. That's why he did what he did. He did it all for Trump. All those people that have the watermelons in their profile that are, pro-Gaza with the watermelons in their profile. Yeah, every one of the people that died in Gaza, every one of the people that died in Lebanon, they died for Trump. The Democrats were trying to create peace. Netanyahu made sure there was no peace for Trump. And Netanyahu's an idiot. He's an idiot. Again, big picture people, cognitively, they understand. Hamas understands they can't survive peace, so there can't be peace. They're really lousy at governing. They can't run things. So they got to have that conflict. Iran's the same way. Iran is the same way. I've showed you pictures before. Iran used to be a beautiful cosmopolitan country. It is not. And they constantly, the mullahs, the ayatollahs have to keep this constant war, social war going on because they suck at governing. Life ain't great. Same thing in Israel. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Netanyahu, they were going to throw him in jail. There was too much peace around. Nobody needed him. Yeah. Exactly. Pump the fear. Pump the fear. But you know what? They understand they're talking to the stupids. They get it, man. They get it. And they tailor their messages for it. They really do. They really do. And that's why I want to do. I want to come out of this show like Julius fucking Caesar. We regroup and reattack, but we do it in such a way that in 2 years, we take fucking Gaul. And it's coming at you fast, man. It is really coming at you fast. This is Core Civic. Core Civic is a corporation that runs private prisons. And again, just like the schools, this is never going away. We had a system. We did. A government-run prison system. But government's bad. Government's bad. Remember, they've been on that messaging. They've been talking to the stupids since Reagan. You're talking like 50, coming on 50 years, selling that message. Government's bad to people who desperately need government. You've seen the stories coming out. People that are on the Affordable Care Act, get their insurance through the Affordable Care Act, suddenly realizing that, I just voted to make that go away. The most vulnerable people went out to vote for that shit because they're the stupids. But they vote, and if you want to win, you need their vote. You need their vote. So our policies going forward have to reflect that. It doesn't mean you have to be them at all. It doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your beliefs and what you know to be true. You know damn well that when women have health care and free access to, unfettered access to doctors, pregnancies, the statistics on pregnancies have just been getting better and better and better and better and better. And now, reversed. So yeah, that's our new reality. We're going to beat the living shit out of them with it. We are. But our messaging is going to be better. And we are never, ever going to do that thing again where we say, I'm reaching out across the aisle to my Republican colleague. The fuck you are. Democrats are smarter. They run things better. We have proven, and we will prove again. And we will have pain as a motivator. The Republicans will fuck this up. We will have pain as a motivator the next time we get into an election. Don't fuck it up. Remember the stupids. Joe barely won his election. Should have been a landslide. Where did we screw up? Too much talking to me and you. We're already on the train. We give them way, way, way too much ammo to take to these dummies. And when I say dummies, I was literally, Mrs. Texas Paul was in full freakout mode because I was hysterically laughing. I was walking through Sam's, and every time one of these old people would walk around the corner wearing their MAGA hat, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. I was laughing in their faces. Ask her. True story. I couldn't stop. I mean, she was asking me, Paul, please stop. Please. You're going to end up getting into a fight. You're going to end up getting, and I couldn't. I just couldn't, because every one of them I saw, it's like, you stupid old bastard. You're the most vulnerable among us. And you just voted for a rapist. It fucking sucks to be you, man. I'm not weak and old like you. You're screwed, Mr. MAGA hat guy. Yeah, we're going to have pain on our side. They can't govern. They never have been able to. There's a reason 96% of the jobs over the last 6 previous administrations were created under Democrats, because we know how to run a freaking economy. They don't. Now we're going to get better at running campaigns, because we're going to get over ourselves. I took so much hate. Let me tell you, that dust up with Shannon Watts cost me 50,000 followers. I don't care. I'm going to tell every Democratic candidate out there, you say the words gun control and I will punch you in the fucking mouth. I will punch you in the fucking mouth. Not because I'm all like pro all the bad shit that happens with guns. No, I'm not. You know me. You know who I am. It's because I know the freaking chicken shits out there exist. And they're fucking terrified. And they vote. They vote. Stop scaring the shit out of them. Yeah, buddy, you can have all the... Go get you an Abrams tank. I don't care. Go get you an Abrams freaking tank. I don't care. You know, it's Republicans that keep shooting at you. The guy that shot at Trump was a little Republican snot. The guy that shot Reagan, they're just from a rich blue blood Republican family. Fuck them. Let it happen. Listen. Know who your enemy is. We're not fighting stupid MAGA hat guy. We're not. We're not fighting stupid gun guy. We're not. He's not the enemy. You know who the enemy is? It's this freaking guy right here. It's the ones on the other side that have the cognitive ability, the ones that understand, the ones that manipulate. This is Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen sells Christianity. Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, sells Christianity. When we had the big freeze, when people were dying and Ted Cruz hauled ass on us, instead of being here like a leader like he's supposed to be, Joel Osteen told people, you can't come in my church. Well, let me clarify. There was an article in USA Today where they did a fact check where they said, well, that's not true. He let 300 people, after vetting them, let 300 people into his church that holds 15,000 fucking people. When people were freezing outside and he's selling Christianity, which is supposed to be when a disaster happens, come to me. I believe in God. I am going to take care of you, my brother. I am my brother's keeper. Come to me. That's supposed to be right. I mean, that's what you believe it is. No. Joel Osteen is like an insurance company in the healthcare industry. He's selling Christianity. He just don't want the expenses of Christianity. Because when you got brand new carpet in your church and you let people in after a hurricane and flooding, they'll mess up your new carpet, and that costs profit. Just like our health insurance company. You know, they sit there and tell you about how great they are. Every advance, all the healthcare. It's not because of health insurance companies. Health insurance companies have one job: take your money. And then the balance that they have is only give you enough healthcare that you still think that they're beneficial and you got to have them. They're like Joel Osteen. They don't want you to actually use healthcare. No. That's why the government is better. Ask our European friends. They have great health care. Our private companies are like Joel Osteen. He'll sell you some God, but he just don't want to like incur expenses. No, that cuts into my Ferrari money. Health insurance companies are the same way. Private health insurance. So are private prisons. You know why Core Civic exists? Because prisons existed. And they said, well, you know what? We need to make them better. And so instead of making them better, you got the whole government is bad. Government is bad crowd that said, you know, private industry does everything better. No, they don't. No, they don't. Not even close. These private schools that are about to get your voucher money fail. Constantly they fail. They're horrible. They only take non-problem children because there's no regulation on these schools. I mean, Republicans don't regulate. They don't do that. I'm bouncing from subject to subject to subject, but they're all the same. Your health care. They want you to pay the premiums. They don't want you to use the health care. Our failed churches. I am more motivated than ever to get my church started. I am. I am going to build a global church that has fealty to science and open schools that teach STEM classes, science, technology. Because this whole voucher thing is here to stay. Yeah, I am. Exactly. I love you people so much that you even know what humanism is. I'm a quasi-humanist. If you don't know what humanism is, look it up. I'm quasi-humanist. You can't put me in that box completely. Yeah, folks. We're going to beat the shit out of them over the next several years because Republicans can't govern. And we're going to build up that motivation. And we're going to go to stupid MAGA guy and say, look, man, see, look, I get you. I get you. I get what you didn't like, but we ain't doing that no more. But look, we told you they were going to do this shit. And they did it. Yeah, you got your Social Security, but your kid didn't. We told you. They've already said the new retirement age for people going into the system will be 75. Congratulations. Elections have consequences. So, will you help me? Will you help me within the Democratic Party come to the understanding? And I really want to. They call you elitists. I call you the elite. You can big picture things. You can understand complex subjects. You can understand policy. We can talk to each other about that all day long. But our electoral strategy cannot be that. We can run the government amazingly, but we can never get off a campaign footing. Trump has made his campaign chair his chief of staff. That is how they won this last election. They never stopped campaigning. After the last loss, they never stopped campaigning. That is our new reality. We need to tell our leaders, never stop campaigning, never stop attacking the Republicans. And don't put details of plans out. Don't. Just because the corporate media works for them and demands you do it doesn't mean you have to. Don't. You simply say the truth. We have a plan and it's better, and they won't entertain it. Period. That's the whole story. We have a plan, it's better, and they won't entertain it. All they want to do is what they do, and look how they're failing. Well, tell us about your plan. Tell us all about your plan. You've seen, we're better. We have details. They won't even talk to us about it. Fuck the corporate media. Fuck them all. Fuck them all to hell. They did this on purpose. They sane-washed Trump on purpose. And this is something else I want you to do. You see, you're flipping through and you see a Trump article, you skip it. You're watching TV. I don't care if it's MSNBC. I don't care who it is. They all sane-washed Trump to sell this chaos. Make them pay. Make them pay. Make them pay. Trump craves attention. Give him none. You can't stop the shitty things that they're about to do. You can't. You can't. Elections have consequences. We have to eat that shit burger. But it doesn't mean you have to give it oxygen. And it doesn't mean you have to reward. Something else that I want to talk about, I want to wrap this up with this. I showed it yesterday. This is my blue sky. I am really enjoying blue sky. I didn't think look, when I shuttered my my Twitter account, and I walked away from a couple 100,000 people. I did. And I was like, man, am I making a mistake? I talked to these people. Oh, no, it was not a mistake. I am loving, we're building the community again, and we're doing it on Blue Sky. I am loving Blue Sky. I'm enjoying it. Look at this. I want to show you something. Oh, geez, picked up almost another 1,000. We're at 6,700 people, and we're like 2.5 days into the account being open. 6,700. I am loving it. I'm loving rebuilding our community over there. You will too. You will too. The way we win is we don't give it oxygen. Fuck Tesla. Fuck Elon Musk. Fuck Amazon. I'll order from Temu and the Chinese before I order from Amazon. Amazon may be Chinese, and the Chinese may be serving their own interests, but at least they ain't fucking traitors. That's how I feel about it, folks. That's what I got for you today. Thank you for being here. Let's do this. We're going on the attack. We're going to war until they haul me off to the gulag. This is Old Texas Paul. I want you to enjoy your Sunday. Go watch some football. And don't feel bad for icing those MAGA people out of your lives. They're not good and decent people. They're just not. They voted for a rapist. They voted for a rapist. I am making a cup that says, this is the new cup. I'm making another one that says, I didn't vote for the rapist or the couch fucker. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. No apologies. No fucks to give at all. We're doing this, folks. We're doing this. We're going to fight it out. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.